And we are live. Burning fuel so fast. Hey, everyone. Well, welcome back. This is Jack Mangan. I'm actually sporting the Michael Alago shirt designed by Jason Newstead. Michael Alago sent it to me. Thank you very much, Michael Alago.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's my cohort again, 2 nights in a row. To my left, I'm getting good at my directions. Rich Catino.
Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another one of our Facebook Live broadcasts from the Metal Asylum. And we are joined tonight by Mr. Verni from Overkill and the Bronx Casket Company, and Charlie Calv from the Bronx Casket Company, and Angel. Which,
how
hello,
weird
guys.
is that, Charlie?
Welcome.
Huh?
I said, hey, Charlie, how weird is that? And Angel. You're an angel?
Dude,
holy shit, you're playing Angel.
It's awesome.
it's bizarre. It's like, you know, the first time I put on the white, it was like, wow, like how cool,
Yes.
right? And I know he's got a great story because I know you saw them back at the Capitol Theater, back in the day. And
I am. Cheap Trick opened.
wow,
And it was, to this day, the loudest concert I ever saw. Ever.
Wow.
And I toured with Motorhead and everybody else, but that Angel show, my head was ringing for days. But they did all the stuff, you know, they did all the boxes came out, and you know, on the 8th day God created Punky Meadows in the box, and they came out of the box, and the big angel thing behind them talked in the intro. It was killer.
That's awesome. Do you remember what year it was?
Oh God, I think I was in high school. Yeah, I was probably in high school. So I don't know, 78, 79, something like that. 77, maybe, somewhere in there.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, yeah, you've got your own story until now. So, couple of
so
them,
we are here tonight to talk about the box set for the Casket albums, all 4 of them, plus you got a bonus disc in there. So Dee and then Charlie, tell us about this, who worked on it, who remastered it, the packaging, all these good things about what this is all about.
Well, I think Charlie gave me a call on it, I guess, a while ago and said, you know, would that be something you'd be interested in, you know, doing some kind of box set, making a compilation of everything that we did, and thought that could be a great idea, because even when we started looking back to the things, I'm like, holy shit, we did our first record in 99. This thing is like 20 years old. Holy shit. So it was like, all right, well, that seems like a good time. And some of them didn't get the distribution maybe they should have. So it seemed like a good opportunity to kind of come up with something where we put it all together and say, okay, you know, this is the chunk of what the band did. And then, I don't know, we just started looking for material. Charlie was asking me for stuff, you know, you have old photos laying around, or, you know, what could we have that would be interesting, that would be kind of cool, that didn't come on the records, or something new and something different. And we started talking, I guess, about the demos, kind of including that. And maybe we had talked about a lot of fun ideas. Some of them we got to do, some of them we didn't get to do. But that's always the thing with Bronx Casket, is just because of the theme of it and the name of the band, we just get to do a lot of kind of tongue-in-cheek fun shit that, you know, that you can think up and do different things with. So I think that's how it started. Oh, it's
Jack made it.
What's up?
Hey, Jack, how are you?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm okay.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. I said, man, what's the last time I seen you? A while ago.
Maybe it was your birthday.
Oh my God.
Which
one?
Yeah, one. You were 21.
Okay.
I think you guys were playing New York, and the street got closed or something crazy, and there was
it's not that long ago when they had the bombing, the Times Square bombing.
No, that was in New York City.
I see Blitz more than I see you now.
Oh well, Blitz is up north.
Yeah, but I mean, I see him at, like, we do like shows once in a while. Blitz will show up for something. So
I see.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to you, but I haven't.
Yeah,
it's good to see you.
Hey guys, we're trying to do an interview here. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Up in your own
We're
time.
visiting.
Yeah, we're talking.
Well, I mean, and Charlie can throw in some stuff there. I mean, that's kind of how the project and the box set kind of got rolling. And then, like I said, I came up with some stuff, and then Charlie had a bunch of stuff that I didn't even have. I mean, he had to go back through some of the archive stuff to find some discs and some stuff that we put on the bonus tracks, because I didn't even have that shit. Some of it I forgot even existed that Charlie had squirreled away, so.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I started looking through stuff because I keep like everything. I just got like CDs and boxes of cassette tapes. And I think like Dee, when I say like, I think it was like the Sherry Moon remix and like an alternate version. I think of Freebird. You were just like, when did we do this?
Yeah, I don't even remember. I didn't remember that they existed, let alone that I sent them to you. But it was good that you had those. And what else did we put on there that was extra? What's that?
The Misfits.
Oh, right, the Misfits tune that kind of never made it onto anything, and that was cool because Mike sang on that too. I kind of had forgotten about that one, and then we talked about doing something new, and that's when I had done my last solo record. There was a Sabbath song on there that I just kind of never got to, but that Ron, our old drummer from Overkill, that played on the record, he did the drum tracks for that, so I had that just sitting there. And me and Charlie got to talking, and we said, maybe we could just finish this off. So I put some stuff down. Then I called up Jack, said, can I send something over to you? And then I sent it over to Charlie. And then I got a guy, Chris Clancy, that I know that out in the UK mix it. And so that was cool to have something kind of new, that was not just left over from back, but something that we just did a little while ago to include too. So I don't know. I think the package is pretty good for if you're a Bronx Casket fan or a fan of just music in general. Yeah, you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the way it's housed, it opens up, everything's together. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, fancy.
Yeah, I think no, it came out great. I mean, and doing the new track was fun. It was and I love the way it came out, man. It's pretty awesome. And I mean, I think the packaging we came up with is cool. And for your folks checking out the like we have a bundle, like Dee Dee said, with the Bronx Casket, you can do so many cool things. And we got the signed death certificate by Dee Dee. It's cool. We got the little squeeze ball coffins that come with it. Cool. It's just some cool stuff for people now.
A stress ball coffin.
Yes.
To sit on your desk.
Nice. Very cool.
That's the most 2020 thing ever. A stress ball coffin.
Yeah, right. I couldn't remember. Somebody was asking me, the girl that's on there with the tattoo on her belly, and who is
right
she?
there?
Yeah.
Her?
Yeah, I think my wife was asking, who the hell is this?
Wasn't that a friend of Russell's? Wasn't it a friend of Russell or something?
Arcara?
Yeah, I could have thought.
Same girl, because you got two different shots in here.
Same
girl?
It's the same girl.
Yeah. I do know who that is. I can't remember because.
Because didn't Mark Weiss take those pictures? I think he did.
Record. First record.
But of the girl though, didn't Mark take those pictures?
But,
I can't remember. I couldn't remember where she came from.
So that one's Mark's.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Both of the shots of the girl are Mark did them. And
nice.
I remember somebody came and they stenciled the tattoo on her, rather than photoshopping it. And but I can't remember where the girl came from. So if anybody knows,
you win a prize.
Yeah, you win a stress ball. You win a coffin stress ball.
Hopefully she's out there watching. Maybe she can.
That's awesome.
I can't believe she's gonna be like, I can't believe they don't remember me.
Yeah, right. She'll be pissed. Well, she looks great. So how about that? Even if I can't remember who she is, she looks great.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is all through Deco, right? I mean, I think Charlie, that's kind of your ball, right? Your neighborhood. This is all coming out through Deco Entertainment.
Yeah, we kind of launched this thing about a year ago, and it's really taken off. And we got a lot of cool stuff. This being one of them. And we got some other stuff. We're looking at actually some Seven Witches stuff coming up next year, and and we're kind of all over the map. We do heavy stuff, like the Bronx stuff. We just did the Destruction live, the really cool kind of packaging for that. And then we go to the opportunity spectrum. We got 10 years after, and then we're working with Tiffany. So I mean, we're kind of all over the map, but it's cool. It's kind of like it's an indie label, but kind of like with that major label mentality. It's just like if it's good music, and we put it out. It's not just metal, not just pop, not just rock, just a little bit of everything, which is cool. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Great,
right?
Yeah. All right, Rich, you got a bunch of questions, right?
Yeah, sure. So, Dee Dee, tell everybody, if they don't know the band, why the name the Bronx Casket Company? Where did that come from?
Well, it came from, God, I lived in Manhattan years and years and years ago. And there was I remember being in my car, driving up 6th Avenue, and there was a semi next to me. And it said either Batesville or Brooklyn, something casket company, huge on the side of the thing. And I'm just sitting there in traffic going, damn, that thing's full of coffins, just stacked up in there. And it just stuck with me. I said it was a cool idea. So I had it jotted down, and it had a lot of different names. It was like, maybe it should be Manhattan Casket Company. Maybe it should be Brooklyn Casket Company. I knew it was going to be Casket Company. And I don't know, it's just something about the Bronx is, if you're from the Bronx, it's tougher. It's a little bit more fuck you. I mean, Bronx is even more fuck you than Brooklyn is, so, or more tough guy even. So I thought Bronx kind of worked. And then I think there's a real place. I mean, I think there's a place called the Bronx Casket Company, which is kind of weird. But that's kind of how the name came to be. And for what we were doing, which was like kind of a Sabbathy and then kind of a doom and gloom kind of thing with a little typo, a little goth mixed in. The whole thing just kind of made sense. And it was fun. It was tongue in cheek, a bunch of the stuff that we did too, like Sweet Home Transylvania and those kinds of things. So it wasn't so like.
That's the second album.
Yeah. That we had fun with, thinking up kind of clever and doomy shit.
Okay.
Great.
Go ahead, Jack.
I actually got a million questions. I guess so. I mean, BCC is a side project for all of you guys. But I mean, how do you kind of draw the line? I guess Dee Dee, like when you're when you have a riff for BCC, how do you kind of say, no, this is an Overkill riff or this is a BCC riff?
Well, I mean, you just listen to the two bands; it's pretty obvious. Clearly, one is not going to work for the other one. But I don't know. I just like writing songs. I write all kinds of different shit. And when's the last time we did a casket record? It's been a while now. I haven't kind of even put that hat on for a while to just try and say, what's a casket riff now? I mean, it was a little clearer back then when we were doing them a little closer together and we were trying shit. We kind of had like a little groove going. But it's easy enough to distinguish to just say, well, it's clearly not an Overkill part, so it goes into another pile. And out of that pile, sometimes there's punk rock riffs in there, sometimes there's whatever. And after some time, usually stuff starts to build up for me. And that's when you see records of mine, whether it's a solo record or whatever it is. It just means that enough time has gone by that whatever I've been kind of compiling for a while has gotten big enough that it should be organized and put out. So with the Bronx stuff, there was just a lot of it because it there's a lot of Sabbathy stuff in Overkill too. But when it wouldn't work for that, there was more of the Bronx kind of material than maybe some other things that I've done. And so that's why there was more records and more stuff to do with that.
All right, great. Oh, great answer. I don't know, you guys have anything on Charlie or Jack? You have anything you want to just tag on to the end of that?
Yeah.
I mean, we can go back to like day one when Dee, I don't know where you want to go with this because like, if you want to talk about how like the formation with the songs and stuff, but me and Dee Dee go back years and years, like friendship before we even played together. And when Dee goes, oh, I want to do this new project, and he just start playing these riffs. He goes, what do you, and because he had a studio in Red Bank O'Gear, And man, they were just so gear.
Yeah, gear.
Good
Yeah, I remember
times.
gear.
And he
Well,
would
you
just
were the
come
one.
in.
You were the one who knew Mike.
You know, it's funny. Like, if you want, I can give you a little quick synopsis of the whole thing. Like,
Sure.
Sure.
of course, I worked at Gear because it was like a rehearsal studio and a recording studio. It was amazing. It was a great place for musicians to come and hang out too. So when Dee Dee was like, Overkill would practice there before their tours or work on the records, whatever. And Dee Dee's like, I want to do a side project someday. And I was like, oh, I'd be down for it. And we both just started to talk about it. And he started asking me questions. Oh, you know anybody? And he goes, the first few records, I got really close with the original, one of the drum, not the original drummer from Overkill, but Tim Mallory. That was an Overkill for a long time. And he would come up, and at the point, he would just stay at my house when my mom and dad were alive. And so Dee Dee had a drummer already set, and he goes, we got to find, we need other people. And I knew Charlie forever. And I went out one night. I forget who I was with. And I went to some little dingy club in Newark, New Jersey. And the next morning I go, Dee Dee, I got the singer. I got this guy.
I remember that.
And I said, this guy, Mike Hideous. And you were like, that's a great name. If the name is as good as like what he brings to the band. So that's how it all kind of formatted. Like it just like from that start. And he just had these great riffs. And I can to this day remember in the big room at Gear, we would just get in the room and like some of these riffs, I'm like, man, this sounds like something like 70s. Some of the riffs, it was like this 70s. It was just so awesome. And then Charlie came in, and it was weird, man. Like all the stars aligned really quick, and Dee Dee we worked on a couple of demos, and the first Witches record was signed to Massacre, and I said, hey, can I have a shot sending this to the label? He goes, yeah, sure, dude. What was it? A week later, Dee Dee, Thomas called you and
Thomas
said,
called us. Yeah,
yep,
let's do it. Yep,
let's do it. It was that easy. It's weird, man. How it just was, hook, line, and sinker. It's crazy. So that's a little quick rundown.
Yeah, it was great. I remember when Jack called me about it, and then Dee Dee reached out to me, sent me some of the demos and stuff, and it was cool. And then when I got it, I was a little bit like, I didn't realize everything was in the key of C. I think you guys were drop tune C, and all of a sudden, I got to come up with keyboard parts in the same key for all these like really cool riffs and stuff that were going on, and it was great. And then I remember doing the demos, which were cool. And then when we did the first record, I remember doing it up at the Carriage House.
Yeah.
I got a picture over here of my son. My wife came up with me. She was pregnant with her second son, and we brought Cameron, my oldest, came up to the studio, and we did a marathon day. I think like 11 or 12 songs in like a 9-12-hour day, including that big piano piece that was like 7 minutes long. And I got me and Cameron, who was probably about a year old at the time, sitting at the grand piano at the Carriage House, and it was awesome. It was just a great vibe, man, and it was a lot of fun to do that. And I can't remember. I've been trying to think. The second record, I remember doing at a studio. I want to say
Hoboken.
Like, somewhere it was like
not Hoboken.
No,
Hoboken.
No, it was down. I want to say Red Bank or something.
Red Bank. It was right across the street from the Count Basie, like upstairs.
Oh, that's right. The little studio upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
because I didn't have the studio at Gear yet, so we were doing. Did we do drums there?
Yeah, but didn't we?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we did. Yeah,
didn't we do guitars in Hoboken or Jersey City too? I remember I came home. I had 2 days. You're like, you got to get in here and lay guitar tracks down. And it was some studio in Hoboken or Jersey, something there in that area.
Really?
Yeah, I remember because if I look, I have pictures. Like I remember I was home literally 2 days, and we just went crazy. Like that was always us, man. Right? We always like, okay, Overkill's off for a week. Let's go.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. Like in between tours, we'd try to get this, we'd try to get that. And we did it everywhere. We did it up at the Carriage House where, Overkill did a bunch of records up there, but, Pantera did records up there. I mean, I spent so much time up there. So the first record doing there was kind of fun. We did some at Gear. I remember me and Jack there for hours, and Charlie too, like sitting there with the keyboards and for hours and hours and hours there.
Dee Dee, do you remember Like, because some of the stuff, you know, is literally a whole step and then a half step down and then drop.
Yeah.
You remember me and you holding
I
the
can't
guitar
sing it
sometimes,
anything.
going gunk, stay in tune, gunk,
Yes.
stay in
Yes.
tune.
Well, that's I mean, when you get down that low, it's insane to track that stuff. But I think I even looking through some of the credits, we did a couple of the mixes. I think on the first record, I went up to Pyramid Studios, which is with Alex Pirialis, who did like the first Overkill record and first Anthrax record and SOD records, like all that stuff we did up in Ithaca. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot we mixed a few songs with Alex.
Crazy.
I think on the first record. So it's like, and then all the way to the fourth record, you know, it was just so many different people that we work with. Like, you know, Antihero is so different from the other records. It's like, you know, I had called this, you know, there was a lot more, I was kind of into some industrial stuff at that time. So I needed a programmer, and I called this guy Riggs that used to be in Rob Zombie's band. And he turned me on to this guy, Bill Sarver, who did all his programming and stuff. So that was the first experience I had with that. But like I said, in looking through the credits, I'm like, oh God, I forgot that he did this massive amount of programming. And then Mike Romeo from Symphony X, he did like a lot of orchestration stuff. Like the orchestra stuff that we used on stuff. He's great at that. So, man, just a lot of people worked on the records through the years on a lot of the credits. And this guy, Alan, who Charlie works with, did all the remastering on the whole project, on everything, every song. And what's cool is, you know, when you listen from like album to album to album, even though it's been over a course of 10 years or whatever that those records were made, you know, they flow now. You know, they're all evened out. Everything sounds cool. It's like the package is cool because even though it spans all these years, it kind of holds up now all across the thing, which is it's kind of cool to remaster just to kind of get that vibe going. And to hear them a little bit different is kind of cool too. So more people piling on for the credits. Lots of lots of work through the years, that's for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll ask really quick since we're there. I'm sorry, Rich. Just really quickly, who was the female vocalist in the album? Because I know you had some backing vocals from. There's some female backing vocals here and there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Mary.
Yes.
Mary.
Yes, you came up with Mary.
I did. I was playing with Russell Arcara. We were doing something, and Mary was one of the background singers. I think you called and said, you know, any female singers? We brought Mary in. I'm good with the female singers. I think I gave you 2 more for the last thing you just did, Dee Dee. So.
Yeah, and they were great. Amy and Barbara, they were tremendous. I had a lot of fun with them, and they did a great job too. But that's the thing between Jack and Charlie. I know I can call them because I'm playing 40 years in a thrash band. It's like, do you know any keyboard players? I'm like, no, I don't. Do you know any female backing vocalists? No, I don't. I never worked with one. I don't know any, but these guys, you could call them for, do you know this? Hey, Jack, I need an accordion on a song. Oh, I know this guy. Okay. All right. Great. Send them over,
So. Awesome.
That's
All right, Rich.
Good stuff. So Jack, you asked him about his riffs and stuff that he writes between Casket and Overkill. So I'm going to piggyback on that question. So what basses do you play, Dee Dee, in Casket that you don't play in Overkill? Or do you play the same basses and just change your effects or your amps?
Oh, God, I didn't even know what I used. I don't even remember.
I remember.
You do?
I do.
I what did I use?
Well, I know you had
the first couple of records
on one of them, right?
Well, it was the Peavies. It was the Peavy rigs.
Yeah, I would imagine I probably used that, but did I use my regular basses?
You Widows? Well, live you used
live I did. Yeah, for sure live.
But it doesn't have the same. But it didn't have the same tone as your recognizable one from Overkill, so it's totally different.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want that. Number one, it's tuned down a step and a half. It's like, and the bass is like playing telephone cable. It's just like, it barely has a sound. But I didn't, that was one of the things I specifically didn't want, which I guess people was like, you should use it because it's your tone. I don't think it would. My tone would even work in that situation just because of the tunings. But I wasn't worried about, or wasn't trying to kind of get the Overkill sound. We were trying to get something different. It's a totally different guitar tone.
Yeah.
The tunings were totally different, and we knew we were going to be piling up, string sections and all this stuff. So, but I don't remember what I used. I mean, I used some variation of the Overkill stuff, but even with the Overkill stuff, I have a live rig and stuff that I play on stage. Like the main bass I play with Overkill it's the same bass I've been playing. It's not like a different one that I had made. It's the same one. It's just been painted through the years or whatever. Same bass I've been playing for 35 years. And I use that on stage always. I always have. That's my main. But I don't use that in the studio. That one just sits on the shelf, and I use different ones when I go to record a record because that one doesn't kind of work for the studio for whatever reason. But I honestly don't remember what I used on those records.
I know you used a couple of hammers too because the 8 strings. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot
because
there was 8 strings.
You got some of that really. It just sounded so that that Cheap Trick Todd. But remember, it was tuned down so much, man.
I got an 8-string tuned down to that. Holy shit!
Yeah, remember? It sounded like he was playing a choir because it was just got the 2 notes. Like it was cool. It just sounded so great.
Yeah,
I remember the hammer for sure.
Yeah, I love the bass on No Miracles. It's like my favorite from that first track. When that kicks in, that was just
that was an 8-string too.
Yeah,
kind of like a part piano, part guitar, part bass. That's what 8-string is kind of cool. And thought that could be used with the some of the Bronx stuff. Did we? I don't even remember if we used any. Did we use any acoustic guitars at all?
Very little, like in the back, like I know we use a 12-string a little bit, but it was very just like layers because with the 8-string and then Charlie's keyboards, like
there was probably not a lot of room left.
No, and I was so far removed because remember, like my guitars were just really dark and heavy. So you guys, like it was a great sandwich,
Yeah.
It's a great sandwich.
A sandwich of love.
But I was gonna actually turn that to you too, Jack, because it's not I don't know. When I think of your guitar playing, like this is a little bit different from what I guess what you do in your other band. So how much of an adjustment was it for you to do these Sabbathy, way tuned down things?
I adapted pretty good because I just had Didi had to explain to me what he was looking for, and I could tell you the first few records. I used like an old 78 black Les Paul custom with an original PV 5150, the first edition, and it was just the amp was just really dark and very scoopy. So for me, it's really different because I'll play more, more mids and stuff. So it was definitely like more of a rectifier sound. So that's why it layered so well, because his 8-string, man, it just cut through so much. So. That's how I adapted to it more, and it was more like flats, more than like chords.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of single fingers because the low string, was tuned down too. Like so there's like 2. If you tune a whole step down, you have 2 Ds. But we were doing Cs, C sharps. It was just crazy.
Nice. All right, Rich.
Okay, so to Charlie, how did the keyboards that you were doing on these albums change from one album to the next? Because there's 4 albums, and the keyboards kind of evolved a little bit in your inclusion in the album. So how did that change?
I think I got more comfortable with the material as we went on, and kind of experimented, tried some different things, from record to record. Like I said, the first record, it really was a challenge because everything really wasn't in the key of C, and it was this drop tuning. He was trying to find that sonic place where the keyboards would fit. And obviously, Didi never working with a keyboard player before, it was probably a challenge to him as well to try. How do we put keyboards in this stuff? But it was cool. I mean, and I think actually right here, this D70 I used on the first record and the second record. Actually, the sound on No Miracles, I'm just thinking about it now. It's a very unique sound on the keyboard, and that's the only keyboard that has that kind of sound. And that was cool. And then the second record, I thought we brought some more strings in. When it came time for the third record, I didn't get to play much on it. We actually had a very difficult pregnancy with my third son, and I had a very hard time getting in, because like Jack said, it was like we always had like this week or 2 week period to get a record done. And I remember I couldn't get there for a lot of that. And then Anti-Hero really kind of took a completely different approach. I mean, I think the songwriting was a little bit different. It was a little more aggressive. So he was trying some more kind of mechanical, industrial type sounds and stuff like that. And that record, I think I recorded here and I sent a lot of the stuff to Dee Dee. And I drove him nuts because this one we were using ADAT. I don't know if you remember that, Dee Dee. We were trying to ADAT, and it was a fucking nightmare. Oh, my God. But like each thing, it was trying to find my place sonically to fit, between Dee Dee's bass and Jack's guitars, and obviously trying to feed off the melodies, that either Dee Dee had or Mike had on the earlier records. Just always trying new stuff, but always kind of having that key ingredient, for me has always kind of been that lush string sound, which a lot of the D70 got some great sounds in it. So that's kind of consistent throughout all four of the records. You'll kind of see that same kind of sound, but each one was like I said, a little bit different. We tried new sounds and new things, and it was great. It was a bit of a challenge for me because it was a little bit different, and I learned a lot from doing it. And like I said, just trying to make the keyboards fit within that kind of dark, very low C.
I thought on Anti-Hero, I thought to myself, I'm like, what the fuck is he going to send me? I was like, I just can't even imagine, because it's, it wasn't just pads weren't going to work, just big. It was going to have to be percussive. And I liked that. I know Mike from Symphony X had told me that sometimes they'll have some samples in their songs, but they don't play to a click, so it's not like they're playing to a click and the samples just go off randomly. Anytime they use a sample, they actually play it live. So they have it, and they have to be close to the tempo or else it won't match up. And I thought that was kind of cool because it was a little bit more organic than just putting it on a click and setting it to go. So I felt like when Charlie sent those keyboards for that he was kind of doing that where it was going to have an industrial edge to it, but he's doing it. If it's just he's playing, he's hammering it, not just putting it on a loop and putting it on the thing. And that was a little challenging because the guy who did the samples was used to working on a grid and everything being perfect, and this wasn't. It was human beings doing it. And that's what made it, and with the ADATs trying to match up the tempos and everything else, it got a little crazy. But I remember getting the keyboards and wondering what was going to happen and being like really surprised, especially on that one. It's like, oh wow, it's going to be really cool. I really liked what went on keyboard wise on that record a lot.
Yeah, I think the keys add so much. They really are a great element to. I just love the sound. I mean, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Overkill fan. I grew up on Overkill. I wore an Overkill shirt when we were talking. We actually had David Ellefson a couple of weeks ago. We were geeking out about your tone and your playing, Dee Dee, by the way, with David.
That's nice.
But yeah, I just think this is, it's just I love the gothic vibe of it, and I love everything that Charlie adds, and it's just great stuff. That's not a question. That's just me kind of being a super fan.
Well, even for me too, when we, I had never, like I said, never worked with keyboards or any of that kind of stuff. So working on it was one thing, but when we got together in a room, again, I have never stood in a room and had a keyboard and played with a keyboard ever in my life. I'm a thrash band. There's no keyboards. You know what I mean? So I remember when we got together the first time and we played, I don't know, the beginning of Jesus Doesn't Live Here Anymore or whatever it was. And it was like, I was like, holy shit. I mean, between the guitars, the bass, and the keyboards, it was like just fucking massive, like a totally different sound than was on the record. Even we didn't do that many shows, but I know Eddie Trunk came to a couple of shows, and he's like, man, the band is so much heavier when you see them. than it is on the record. And I think that's because when we got in the room, because we didn't get in a room very often to play, but when you did, it was like, and everything locked up. It was just a big fucking sound, man.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was fun. The couple shows we did, it was awesome. And I think before that, like we only saw each other for the photo shoot for the record. And,
Yeah. I saw
That was great.
DD. I saw
Oh, it's
DD
like-
every day back then. It was different. I saw. It
What?
was,
Yeah, wasn't there one record where like we had to introduce ourselves to each other? Like we had only talked,
I'm
or
thinking
maybe
that's pretty much the
you
first
didn't meet
record.
Mike.
yeah.
There was-
I didn't meet Mike or Tim until we did the photo shoot for the first record. You know,
Would it be that one?
yeah.
Probably.
Yep.
I found those old, like I was looking through some shit and I found contact sheets like that. It's like, oh man, how old are these? You know, now it's all digital,
Yeah.
you know, you don't get a contact sheet like that anymore. It looks like one of those photo booths you go to up on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you guys remember doing that photo shoot? The first
At
record?
Gear.
Here, right?
Oh no, we went to some car place and got the hearse. Remember? We went down like
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
went to where was it? Tom's River or
It was by my house and
yeah,
Point Pleasant.
Right. So we went there and then we went back to Weiss's. Didn't we go back to Mark Weiss's backyard and do more photos too?
Yeah, he's got a studio back there.
Yep.
But
Was was that the Hearst one?
That's the one.
yeah.
That's on-
That's cool.
I called everybody. I said, get a suit.
Get a suit.
And meet me at the car place at 2:00.
Very cool.
I got this idea for a picture. But then
There it is.
I remember doing some pictures too at Gear where we had a big giant cross
Oh, I remember.
made out of wood.
Tim had the cross.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there was that one.
And Rich did that.
Oh, I forgot about that one too.
Yeah.
Rich
with
tell
all the
them,
spider webs.
You did that.
Yes, I know. And remember, Dee Dee, you had me bring down like some skulls and like bones and like different props, but we didn't use them. We just went with the spider webs.
And that was at Gear. Did we do that?
Yep.
That was a Gear, yeah.
Oh, I forgot we even did the spider web thing. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Danny shoot that one? Euro? Didn't he shoot that photo shoot with the
The
cobweb?
spider webs?
With the spider web?
Was it
Yeah,
Danny or Frank Weiss?
I think it was Frank White. I think Muro did New York
No,
City.
not Frank Weiss. Frank
Was it
White.
Frank White.
Frank White, yeah. Frank.
It might have been. I know Frank did the ones I did with the girl. Oh God.
Dude, was that Frank
There's
White's
this-
girlfriend at the time?
What about that one? How about that one?
That was in New York.
That was New York.
Yeah. We just wandered around the city. That was an easy one, actually. Just kind of wandering around Times Square, going up and down the subways. Yeah. Who was that one with? Oh, Eddie Malouk.
Eddie Malouk. And then we
Yeah,
went to
he
that
did that
restaurant,
one.
remember? Remember the nice bar we sat
Oh, that was
at?
good. That was good food.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Right by Wicket.
Yeah, right. God, I totally forgot about that.
Dude,
I
I'm
forgot,
old.
too, that I
Shouldn't I
had-
have no memory of any of this stuff?
Yeah, well, yeah, the file gets pretty thick after a while. You're like, oh man, I can't remember, you know?
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
That's impressive, Jack.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess I got to ask. I mean, it's the question you guys knew was going to come. So, what about new BCC? Are we going to get anything new from you guys? I mean,
Oh,
any
God.
hope for it?
Before you answer that though, are there any leftover songs from these albums that could appear on a future one?
I don't think we did. I don't think we recorded anything else, even any covers or anything. I don't think there's anything else laying around, right?
Now with the Metallica songs on the first record, Ghouls Nights Out.
When we did that.
But I bet you if Dee Dee went in his archives, he probably has a million other songs that could be on the Casket record without even trying.
There's probably some stuff floating around. Actually, when we talked about doing a bonus song for this one of the things I had put aside was I just demoed up on my end or whatever it was this fucked up version of Purple Rain, and I was like, oh man, maybe we should do this one because it would be so fucking cool. But I don't know. Are we going to do something again? I mean, I don't know. It was fun. It was fun to do the Sabbath thing, and I think it
That was
turned out
awesome.
good. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. If you hear that, it's like kind of, and maybe with the just kind of revisiting the whole box set again and everything. I don't know. Maybe it's like with all this COVID shit, I'm just sitting here writing record after record after record. Maybe that'll be the next thing on my list. You know, I got nothing else to do. Let me start working on that. You know, who knows?
Have you ever thought of maybe doing like something virtually between the four of you guys?
Like a live show, you mean?
Or or do something like a playthrough in each of your studios or something from the album?
Casket's a record band. You got to play live.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's too. I mean, honestly, for people that never saw us live, I gotta say one thing about Dee Dee, and this is one thing I love about him. It's full on, baby. It's not like, okay, Jack, bring a little Fender Twin. Charlie, bring a Casio. No. We painted our guitar cabinets, our bass cabinets. Everything was painted with like coffins, with skulls. And Dee Dee doesn't go halfway. The light show, dude, it was like the lights were going on and off. It was a show. I mean, this guy, you know, when you go see Overkill, you know what you're going to see. When you came to see Casket, you knew what you were going to get. Like we'll play Dingbats. We do it at Madison Square Garden. I gotta be honest with you.
We brought a lot of shit to Dingbats. We brought a lot of, but look good.
But you know, we played the Starland a few times, BB's, and and then we played a really great show up at the Palladium.
Oh, they loved us there.
Oh, they loved us.
Oh boy, did they love us that night? Oh my God!
Why? What happened at the Palladium? Is there a story?
We were playing. We have some friends up there, and we were playing the hardcore metal fest or whatever. Right. And you know, it's not a position I'm used to being in, which is the lightest band on the heaviest bill, and that's not the place you want to be. I'm usually at the other end of that spectrum. So this was getting out there, and they were not pleased with our tempo choices. They were not pleased with what we were doing. But we muscled through it. We got through it, and whatever. You know, it's.
But you know what? What was great about it is it didn't matter. We just went. We got more aggressive when they. We just got more aggressive about it, and it was actually fun. It was like almost like fighting for your life, but it was great.
Yeah. It was that was rough to get through.
Oh man, Dee, we played Jack's too. That's no longer there.
Oh God, right. Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't that our first show?
Yeah, that's the one we did with Mike.
That was our first show ever. And
Jack, I had the room of Mike that night. I thought he was going to sleep in a coffin. I swear to God.
Oh man, and we only did one show with Mike, right?
Yeah.
That was just that one time.
Only Jack's?
Yeah, just Jack's. Yeah, yep.
That was it.
Yeah, I remember driving down with who played drums on it with Rob. I drove. You guys drove that. Me, Rob, and Mike drove down.
No, was it the first record? It was Tim.
No, when we did the first show we did, I think Rob was already right when we did the show with Mike Hideous. Rob was already playing drums, I think.
Polaco, really?
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure.
I can't remember. I know it was like it might be because it was probably maybe the third or fourth record before we did a show.
Yeah, definitely was. I remember Rob and Mike came here to the house, and then we drove down to the to wherever that was, Baltimore or whatever.
Virginia, yeah, out there.
Yeah.
I can remember Mike Hideous saying to me about something about, do we get any, we get paid for the show? I'm like, oh yeah, we got a few bucks. How do you think we got this stuff here? Why are we bringing all this stuff? We could just put an amp here and, we could have a few bucks. I'm like, fuck that.
Not in my house.
No, we're bringing all this backline. We're bringing all these lights. We're bringing all this crew, and we're going to do it right. Yep. And if we walk out with nothing, we walk out with nothing. And we walked out with nothing.
Well, what a great
But
show!
that's the
What a
way.
great show!
But that's
it
the
was.
way it goes. That's
Yeah.
the way it goes. You know.
Nice. Well, I guess you already answered the question I had in mind. I was going to ask if you guys are planning on doing any shows, after COVID. But I think I kind of hear the answer already in what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you never say never, but I know I got a call actually from a friend of mine. This was a while ago, saying that they were going to do a typo benefit show. Oh no, it's like a typo tribute show, and they were going to get a whole bunch of bands and players to come in, like they did for Dio, and and nobody's done anything for Peter, through all this time. And he called me and said, would you be up for that, or maybe Bronx Casket? I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that something like that would be, everybody come out, each band or whoever the performers are, come out and do a typo song and something like that. So maybe something like that still comes down the pike. We'll like give a call to each other and say, all right, let's try something. Or you never know too with the European festivals. We never played in Europe at all. You never know when you're going to get a call from some festival looking for that band that has never been on a bill ever, and they're like, okay, would you guys want to come over and do something special? And it's a one-off, and it could be kind of fun. So you never know. And I'll call up the guys and say, all right, want to go to Europe? And they'll, okay, let's go.
And Didi already knows me and Charlie so well. We'll be like, sure, what's the set list? Let us know. We'll be ready.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not even like he has to, like, I wonder if they're going to want to do it. And doesn't this really kind of suck, though, a little bit that the box set comes out? It would have been really cool, because I know you guys were talking a little bit about doing a show or two to go with the box set. But you can.
Or
we don't need to go
something,
that. We don't need to talk about that right now, because we know where that's going to go to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't a full show, we talked about some kind of different things. We'd jump up and do 4 or 5 songs, or a record release party. You could come up with some different ideas, something that's not too crazy. But, it's everybody's sitting there in their houses right now. We haven't, probably nobody has, right? I mean, I haven't done a show since February, when we got yanked off the road.
I think I just got back like that week. I actually planned on coming to see you at the Wellmont, and then the show got canceled.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was supposed to go to that one too. Yeah.
Right, and actually we got everything got shut down like the night before. Like we played, like the day before we were working our way up the East Coast, and we were in Charlotte, and we played, and we were calling our agent every day saying, "Are we still playing? Are there still shows?" And he'd be like, "You're good for tonight. I don't know about tomorrow. Call me in the morning." And so that was going on for days, because we were working our ways from California back to the East Coast, and then up to finish up in Jersey. And it was just like I think it was the last 2 shows. We were going like Charlotte, Maryland, Jersey, and that was it. We were done, and we were like, just let us get that last Jersey show. Because the tickets were good, pretty good. The show was almost sold out. It would be a nice way to button up the tour, but couldn't get that one in. And now we have a lot of merch with that date on it, sitting on boxes in a warehouse somewhere. But who knows? Maybe we'll put a COVID sticker on them and sell them back out again. Put them back out and say, "This is the show you missed. Remember?" Maybe somebody will buy them. You never know, right? So who knows? Who knows? You never know with the show, a show or a tour. Never say never. And I mean, it would always be fun to get together with the guys and try something. And as long as it could be fun.
Yep.
Actually, where are all those guitar cabinets with the coffin spray painted on them? Do you have them anywhere stored, Dean? Or?
Well, a bunch of them were Jacks.
Okay.
So I think it was. We just paid, and all my bass cabinets are all sitting in storage, and the coffins are all painted on one side, and then for the Overkill shows, I just take the fronts off and I turn them around. They're black, and I put them back on the front again. So they're ready to go. All I have to do is flip the iron on the grill in front to put the coffins back on front again. But I don't know where I was. Because I remember painting all of them, Jack's and mine, with the spray paint, skull on it, down at Gear actually. So I don't know where Jack's are, stacked up somewhere in the storage locker.
They're around when we need them. I get
Well,
I
hopefully
still have the backdrops in my studio, in my attic. I just looking at it the other day because there was some work being done in there, and I'm pulling out this thing, and it's like, I start rolling it out, and it's like a 20-foot, silver coffin with a iron cross on it, and I'm like, oh wow, this is one of the Bronx Casket backdrops, the giant coffins that we had hanging. So we're good to go. If you're a promoter out there and you're hearing this, we're good to go.
Awesome.
make it happen. Yeah. All right, Rich, what do you got? I know you have more questions. I know we're getting kind of low on time, but yeah, I know we want to wrap up a little bit. What do you got, Rich?
Well, you guys are all doing other things aside from caskets. So Jack and Dee Dee and Charlie, let us know what you're currently working on, for this year going into next year.
I'll right now just doing some recording here. We actually just finished writing the next Angel record, which we could start recording in January, and with release in the summer with maybe a tour. Who knows? Same thing. Everything's been postponed right now. Everything's rescheduled starting in June, but I'm sure that's going to move again, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, that's really all I have on my plate. So, like I said, we're going to try to start this year, but we're going to wait till after the holiday. Hopefully, if everything is still open and people can fly and get up here to do the record. But what I got going.
You know what would be great, Charlie? A Heaven and Hell tour with Angel and Bronx Casket.
Right?
There you go.
Right? Okay.
Nice.
Now we're talking.
Yes.
Putting that in there.
They always said Dee Dee was my evil twin. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So Jack and Dee Dee, what do you got going on?
I'm in the middle right now. We're recording a new Overkill record, so drums are done. Just started guitars last week, actually just a few days ago. Kind of starting up with that. Probably do that through the rest of the year. We have Colin Richardson's going to mix, which we're pumped about. He did a couple records for us, and he's great. And when will it be out? I don't know. We're trying to coordinate it maybe with some touring. We don't really have any touring till next July, I think, are our first shows. We have shows in July, August, September, October. Whether any of them are going to happen, I don't know. But probably something like that for a new Overkill release. So I'll be working on that between now and then.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm sorry to interrupt, Jack, but I got to say, a couple of months back, we had Bobby Blitz came on and talked to us a little bit because we were doing our launch for the Am I Evil comic book. And Bobby Blitz, we said, hey, can you tell us the song titles? He said, yeah, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck. So I don't know. We get the same answer out of you, Dee Dee, if we ask about any song titles or anything about the new album. Or we get any more info out of you about the new album? You give us any song titles or anything?
Are you talking Jack or me?
You, Dee Dee. Talking to you. Can you give us any info on the?
No, I cannot.
I knew you were going to say that. That's all right.
No, I mean, I would if I could, but it's like, at this stage of the game, Blitz is still like, these are tentatives. It might be this, it might be that. It's all subject to change still. So until we get a little closer to it's buttoned up, these are firm now. So, but, generally it's going to be go fuck yourself 1, go fuck yourself 2. It's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Right in the Overkill thing, right in the Overkill wheelhouse.
Cool.
And Jack?
All right. Yeah, sorry, Jack. Go ahead.
Oh, it's you guys already know. Well, I mean, I don't know if Dee Dee knows this, but a couple, like less than a month ago, I joined Aldo Nova. So when
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we were on a couple of weeks ago, and
killer. Like
really stoked to go out with him, and what a great songwriter. So I talk to him every day. Our biggest thing right now is, he has a lot of ideas to tour, but of course, like Dee Dee and everybody else, and like Angel, we can't tour. So when that happens, we'll be ready. And I'm about 80% done with a new Witches record with James Rivera and Dennis Hayes and Jeff. And doing that. And I will say one thing. I can't say this right now, but I can tell you Aldo Nova's got a really cool keyboard player too coming on board. That's all I can kind of say. You know?
That's funny. I actually talked to Aldo yesterday. But anyway.
Oh, you did? That's kind of weird.
That's exciting.
it
So
for
you know
me.
that guy.
I know that dude. And I think we're going to work on a new casket record soon. So I'm just waiting for D to send me the guitar, you know, some stuff.
Nice.
Well, yeah, well, you never know.
Hey, I got
mean,
my studio at home. It's easy now.
I'm always working on stuff. There's always projects and songs and, you know, things that I am going on, you know. And,
dude, I have to tell you, Didi, when you called me up and said, "Hey, I want you to play on this," he said this over to me, dude. It was like Christmas all over again because we had so much fun. That was the thing cool about this band. There was never drama. It wasn't it was just, you know, you want to go with me, you want to go with me. The only thing we had to ever worry about was like who was going to roommate with Tim because Tim would snore and kill you. So nobody,
right.
That was the only,
right.
But that was it.
Yeah, there was never any of that stuff. That's part of why part of why it was fun. It was like, or even doing a side thing. A lot of people would ask me like, why would you, you know, why would you do a side thing and then have it be so different from Overkill? I'm like, why would you do a side thing that was just like
Overkill?
Yeah. Isn't that the idea?
I mean, I guess if all you care about is selling, you know, I'll just make another version of what I do, you know, but geez, that's not fun. Even the casket records, I mean, you see them in the box and you kind of get to scroll through them. They're all really different. I mean, there are, especially the first one and the fourth one, you can put a song on from each of those and it sounds like a different band. You know, they're really, which is a lot of the fun of doing a project.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
And none of you guys asked him what happened, what made Didi take over for vocals. You know, that was the big thing too. Like I thought that was so cool when you that was just so cool because when Mike, I guess, left the band, you know, Didi was doing all the demos, and I remember Charlie, you said, "Why don't you just sing? Like it's like you already got."
I remember driving home from Jack's with you, and you saying you should just sing.
Yeah, I was like,
and I'm like,
all right,
okay.
Coffee, sure.
That's true because when we get the demos to do the record and everything, Didi was singing on it from the beginning anyway. I mean, that's kind of what, you know, we were writing to and kind of learning the songs from, and and it just worked. I mean, you just stepped right up after the show we did with Mike, and we just continued on, and we really didn't miss a beat.
No.
You know? And
and it was you know. We had a lot of laughs with Mike too. I mean, I really enjoyed working with him and doing stuff with him. He's an interesting guy, you know, and funny, and everything was cool. And we did the one show, and I don't know, there was something for me anyway when we did the show that I just felt like this is not working for me. I don't know. Even at rehearsals, it seemed like. I mean, a little bit to me, and I could kind of get it. It seemed like Mike, you know, he was in Empire Hideous, and he was the driver in that band, you know, as far as the material and what he did and kind of how he presented everything. And I was a little more the driver in this band. So, and there was no bumping heads or nothing like that. You know, he was cool doing the stuff, and he put his spin on the material like everybody did. And, you know, I'm usually good with that. But there's something that when we were on the stage together playing that I was just like, this is not, like I said before, when Eddie Trunk came to a show, he's like, oh my God, it's so much heavier. It didn't feel heavier to me when we were with Mike. It had a different feeling. And I guess it's so many years of being on stage with Overkill, you know, it's about busting heads and, you know, breaking the place up. And even with slower, whatever material, that's still my headspace, is that we're going to bash this place into the ground. It was just different with Mike. I just wasn't feeling that. And so that's when I started thinking that maybe I would more if we were just, you know, the four of us doing it. And then as soon as we rehearsed after that, it was like, okay, this feels more like what I got in my head anyway. And we just went on from there. I mean, it was it though. One show with Mike, right? One.
Like, is it really only one? We only did Virginia. That was it.
I guess so. Have you talked to Mike? I haven't talked to Mike in.
I heard from Mike probably about a year ago, out of nowhere. He was just kind of reaching out, hey man, what's up? And he's living in, I think somewhere up near up near the Poconos or something. Photographer,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But he was always into photography, and he was an artist even outside of just being a musician and playing in a band. He was kind of into art, fashion, and all kinds of stuff. He was really creative guy. But maybe all this talking about him, I wonder if I have his email in there. Maybe when we hang up, I'll go, hey, Mike, out of nowhere. What's happening? Or Spy. He's Spy. He was Spy. He was Spy in Bronx Casket Company. I could never call him Spy. I never called him Spy. I called him Mike.
Mr. Hideous.
or Mr. Hideous, right.
One thing about Mike, though, I mean, he was the real deal. Like, it wasn't
100%.
That was him.
No.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. It wasn't like, he was, it wasn't that he was always Mike Hideous. When he showed up for rehearsal, it wasn't like he came down in, a flannel shirt and whatever. He came down, he was Mike Hideous. He was Mike Hideous. No matter where you saw him, he was Mike Hideous, which was cool. That's what he did. It wasn't a statement. It was who he was.
Yeah.
And in the studio, he killed it. I mean, he knew he could sing. He would just throw up track after track. Try this harmony. Try just right off the top of his head. He would belt all that stuff out. He was good.
Excellent. I mean, your vocals kick ass too. I mean, but do you not have that approach then? Is your approach a little bit more just kind of just straightforward blue collar?
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be that's more my approach to things in general. Like I said, even with the different material, I'm still trying to bash your head in. It's just in Bronx Casket, I'm doing it with a sledgehammer, and with Overkill, I have a machine gun. It's just tempos are different, but my head is still trying to do the same thing. I'm not trying for the music, even though goth is like that sometimes, for it to be beautiful. I want it to be bludgeoning still. I'm trying anyway.
All right, cool. Well, we're a little bit past time, but it's all good, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. Rich, I don't know, we'll let you guys kind of take us out, but Rich, do you have anything you want to say before we go?
Sure. What are you guys currently listening to? Who would you recommend for somebody to check out? A band, a great song, new music that you like?
Oh God, what am I listening to right now? Well, I've been listening to. It's really nothing new. The new Green Day record. I've been listening to Green Day over and over and over. All the Green Day records lately, just because I just think they're for me, they're one of my top 5 bands of all time. Like up there with Black Sabbath, Motorhead, Green Day. They're in that range for me. So the new record is weird, but I've been listening to that a lot lately.
Jack, Charlie?
Charlie, good.
I don't know. I've been listening to this a lot. The Bronx Casket.
Oh yeah, that's a shameless plug.
There you go.
Like, damn.
I don't. To be honest, all over the map. I mean, kind of having the label thing. I get a lot of stuff that comes across my desk or whatever, and it's really cool. We're working with this really great kind of metal band, 2 twin sisters called Dianthus. That I'm really digging, and I encourage people to check that out. I think that's really cool. And we just did the new Albert Bouchard record from Glorious to Cult, his Reimaginos, and I kind of been spinning that a lot. I kind of like his take on it. It's a little more acoustic based than the Glorious to Cult version, but always loved those guys, and I kind of been digging that a lot lately. Like those two have kind of been in my. I still have a CD player in my car, still listen to CDs, and that's what I put in the car when I go out.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Jack?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess I'll do a plug. Dude, I have to listen to so much Aldo Nova right now. It's insane. I mean, I mean, not even just his records. The guy wrote so much. So I'm trying to absorb, like, everything. So I've been listening to a lot of that, and I gotta tell you, the new Wet is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really good. That's Jeff Scott Soto and guys from Eclipse, and it's kind of like Talisman, but it's it's really great. Very AOR melodic, but great guitar sounds, great vocals. So
Yep.
but
too.
Didi, you know how that is. You got to kind of keep your head away from. You start listening to everything other stuff, and you're like, you got to focus on something. So.
Well, I
That's
try
right.
like we're in the middle of Overkill stuff right now, so I'm usually trying to make sure I'm not listening to Exodus or Megadeth or kind of stay away from that kind of thing spilling into my brain too much. So I'll listen to other stuff like Green Day or Volbeat or something that's away from what we're doing, so I don't get too tuned into something else and say, wow, I had this great riff that I got. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's on the new Exodus record or the last Exodus record. Yeah. It's like, oh, fuck, really? How'd that get in there?
Oh, I got to say, Amaranth, you got to listen to that. That band is ridiculous. Where they got three singers.
All right.
Yeah, they got three singers. They have a female that's very operatic. They have an 80s hair guy, and then they have it's phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really good.
I'm always
you'll
looking
like
for
it,
new
dude. You'll
music.
definitely
Always.
like it. It's good.
And I do have to say that the new Aldo Nova record, the concept record he's got, is very, very, very cool.
It's crazy.
That gets out, people enjoy it. Very cool.
Yeah,
Check that out too.
I look forward to hearing that. Well, anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so much. Seriously,
no problem.
This is a lot of fun, man. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good luck with the album, guys. Everybody
get together.
I miss you, Verni.
And all you guys watching, you support the Casket album, support the new music.
Hey, Didi, we should call Rich Vanna White. He's like the new Alante. All that. Very nice, Rich.
Thank you.
Oh,
I tried.
You know what I forgot? Hold on 1 second. I got to show you something. I forgot. I'm looking at this right now.
Look at all this nightmare stuff.
I got a lot of nightmare stuff. I got mailed this by my record label. They sent me a box of these certificates that I needed to sign that go in the box set. It's an official death certificate.
Nice.
I had the founder had to sign. So you get this, and you can put your name right in there. So this is another shameless plug. Charlie will be happy about that.
There you go.
You get your own death certificate,
Awesome.
along with the plush squeezing coffin that comes in part of the box set. So that can all be yours.
Very nice. Awesome.
Yes. All right.
And if you want, Didi will come to your house and deliver the box set for the right. with a mask on.
Let's hold on there a second.
No, you heard it here.
That's got to be next. Then you got to make some casket masks, right?
Now that would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, yeah. Again, thank you guys. Yeah, take us out with just
thanks,
a
everybody.
message.
No
But yeah,
problem.
thank you for watching. Thank you guys for being
See
on.
you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
All right, we are.